Coming up on 5 Minute News. Biden negotiates with Putin as alarm grows over Ukraine. CDC warns passengers against traveling on all cruises. And Colorado governor declares state of emergency as Boulder burns. It's Friday, December 31. I'm Anthony Davis. President Joe Biden and Russian leader Vladimir Putin spoke frankly for nearly an hour late on Thursday, amid growing alarm over Ukraine and a crisis that has deepened as the Kremlin has stiffened its insistence on border security guarantees and test-fired hypersonic missiles to underscore its demands. Biden reaffirmed the US threat of new sanctions against Russia in case of an escalation or invasion, to which Putin responded with a warning of his own that such a US move could lead to a complete rupture of ties between the nations. White House officials offered a far more muted post-call readout, suggesting the leaders agreed that there are areas where the two sides can make meaningful progress, but also differences that might be impossible to resolve. Putin requested the call, the second between the leaders this month, ahead of scheduled talks between senior US and Russian officials on January 9 and 10 in Geneva. Biden told Putin the two powers now face two paths: diplomacy or American deterrence through sanctions, according to a senior administration official. Biden said the route taken will depend on Russia's actions in the period ahead. Russia has made it clear it wants a written commitment that Ukraine will never be allowed to join NATO and that the alliance's military equipment will not be positioned in former Soviet states, demands that the Biden administration has rejected. The US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention warned people on Thursday not to go on cruise ships, regardless of their vaccination status, because of onboard outbreaks fueled by the Omicron variant. The CDC said it has more than 90 cruise ships under investigation or observation as a result of COVID-19 cases. The virus that causes COVID-19 spreads easily between people in close quarters on board ships, and the chance of getting COVID-19 on cruise ships is very high, even if people are fully vaccinated and have received a booster, the CDC said. The Cruise Lines International Association said it was disappointed with the new recommendations, saying the industry was singled out, despite the fact it follows stricter health protocols than other travel sectors. In March 2020, as the coronavirus took hold in the US, the CDC put a halt to all cruises for what turned out to be 15 months. Last June, it allowed ships to resume sailing under strict new conditions. Yesterday, the CDC also recommended that passengers get tested and quarantine for 5 days after docking, regardless of their vaccination status and even if they have no symptoms. Omicron has sent cases skyrocketing to unprecedented levels across the US, including Florida, the hub of the nation's cruise industry, where Republican Governor Ron DeSantis has been on vacation for several weeks. The state set another record this week for new daily cases, with more than 58,000 recorded on Wednesday. An estimated 580 homes, a hotel and a shopping center have burned, and tens of thousands of people were evacuated in wind-fueled wildfires outside Denver, officials said on Thursday evening. At least one first responder and 6 others were injured, though Boulder County Sheriff Joe Pele acknowledged there could be more injuries and deaths possible due to the intensity of fires that quickly swept across the region as winds gusted up to 105 miles per hour. The first fire erupted just before 10:30 in the morning. The activity of the fires, which are burning unusually late into the winter season, will depend on how the winds behaved overnight and could determine when crews are able to go in and begin assessing the damage and searching for any victims. The city of Louisville, which has a population of about 21,000, was ordered to evacuate after residents in Superior, which has 13,000 residents, were told to leave. The neighboring towns are roughly 20 miles northwest of Denver. Several blazes started in the area on Thursday, at least some sparked by downed power lines. Colorado's Front Range, where most of the state's population lives, had an extremely dry and mild fall, and winter so far has continued to be mostly dry. One video captured by a bystander outside a Superior Costco store showed an apocalyptic scene, with winds whipping through barren trees in the parking lot surrounded by grey skies, a hazy sun, and small fires scattered across the ground. The fires prompted Governor Jared Polis to declare a state of emergency, allowing the state to access disaster emergency funds. The evacuations come as climate change is making weather more extreme and wildfires more frequent and destructive, scientists say. An historic drought and heat waves have made wildfires harder to fight in the US West. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.